Well, good evening, everybody. This is Cummings here, and we have another Missionary Monday Live. I have a feeling there should be like some music after that, like it's Missionary Monday Live, and then da 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 theme music and a little animation going across the screen, and then come back. And so today's news. This is a really low budget operation. We have, if you could see, in fact, I'll turn around. I'll turn it around here for you. Whoa! I'm sitting on the veranda or the porch of our house, and this is my high tech setup. Of course, I've got the computer sitting right here. My porch doubles as the carport, so you can see the car over there, and the computer's here. And my cell phone that I'm talking on is held up by this pile of books, which today's selection is the History of the English-Speaking Peoples by Winston Churchill. So can't go wrong with Churchill. You could say that when people ask you what was the Missionary Monday Live about today, well, you can honestly say, well, it was on Churchill, because you were literally sitting on Churchill's books. Anyway, that's the setup we have today. So theme music and all that kind of stuff. If you need theme music, I guess you're out of luck. I could sing something, I guess, but I'm not gonna do that. A few interesting things to talk about. First of all, I don't have links today. Again, I'm sorry. Normally, I have I'm able beforehand to throw some pictures up on our website and so that you can see what's going on. I put the links up underneath. I don't have any links today, but you can, if you scroll down through the Facebook page, then you can see some of the pictures I'm referencing, some of the stuff that's going on. So, talk a little bit about a cultural thing here in Brazil. Many Americans are unaware of an applicative, or an application, I guess it's called in English, aplicativo in Portuguese, an application that is called WhatsApp. It's actually an American-made application, but very few Americans actually know about it. It's, what's up, except it's not up, it's app. WhatsApp, get it? And so, it's just a messaging program, basically what it is, and it's very versatile. It uses you can do voice messages, filming, and so on, and then they've also copied the stories thing that Facebook has and Instagram has. And while this app is not known much in the United States, here in Brazil, well, I'm not exaggerating at all when I say that Brazil runs on this program. I mean, Brazil it depends, has in the last 5 years or so, has come to depend on this app, on WhatsApp, for all their communications. Just to give you an idea, I have our church. Let me think. We have the main church group, then we have a prayer request group. Our ladies ministry has a group. Our youth group has a group. Our deacons have a group. Our construction committee has a group. That's 6. I might be. The music team has a group. That is 7, and I might be missing 1 or 2 groups in there. I'm not sure. That's at least 7 WhatsApp groups that our church has, that we use. Oh, I am missing one. Our treasury has a group, and so every time someone spends money in the church, they put the receipt on the treasury on the treasury group, and the secretary puts it in her books. That's just our church. Then our area pastors, we have a group. Our mother church here of our congregation has set up a group that's the mother church and the 2 congregations, our congregation and another congregation, and it's all of theirs. And the camp ministry has a group. The youth group association has a group. On it goes. My wife's family, her extended family, has a group. When my sons were in Boy Scouts, they had a group. Everybody is on WhatsApp and communicating by WhatsApp, and so WhatsApp is they have this little messages thing, and I've discovered, or not messages, stories, kind of like if you're familiar with Instagram. Instagram has the stories feature. WhatsApp has that too, kind of copied it. Everyone's trying to be Instagram now. But anyway, I found that I can reach a lot of people with that stories feature on Instagram. And so what I did on Sunday, and I'm going to be doing this and having some of our young people do this too, is that is during the service, take pictures, make little movies, and of the service or any church activity, and just put them up there in real time. And people can respond to that. People can leave comments and so on. And so I did that Sunday. And then what I did was I took all the pictures, which are automatically saved on my cell phone, and I threw them onto Facebook. And so there's a big picture dump of last Sunday on Facebook. And there's pictures and videos, some special music. It was really neat on Sunday. There's a lot of neat stuff happened Sunday. Let me just go back up a bit. The week before, you may remember, was our conference. And in fact, we did an interview that is, you can see that on YouTube and Facebook now, the interview that I did with Pastor Brian King, who was our speaker. And it was a great interview. We had lots of fun doing it. And so we have that interview up there. So it was our conference week last week, and it was great. It was wonderful. It's also intense. A lot of preparation and a lot of things going on. And so once the conference is over, everyone breathes a big sigh of relief, and whew, that's over. Now what? And in my experience, after conference, because this conference is a big thing that our church does every year, and most churches do it on the occasion of their church's birthday. We kind of combined our church's birthday with the 500th anniversary of the Reformation this year. So we had our big church's birthday thing, and then after that, usually the Sunday following that is kind of a letdown. It's kind of okay, no one's there, lots of people are not there maybe, and everything's just kind of ooh. However, this Sunday was different. This Sunday was our church was, as the kids are saying these days, our church was lit. It was just an amazing Sunday, and I was really glad that I decided to take the pictures and throw it, because we got some neat things. A couple neat things. First off, we have a praise team, and so they usually take care of music and special music. But then we had a family, just out of the blue. The father called me up, said, "Hey, Pastor, we want to do a special number Sunday. Can we do it?" I said, "Go ahead, wonderful." And so they did, and they sang a song, and you can sing it. You can see it there in that bunch of pictures. It was wonderful. And then just some different things about the service. In those pictures, you'll see a time when it looks like everybody's milling around, and that's what's actually happening. Everybody's just kind of milling around, and it's an indispensable part of most Brazilian church service. It's one thing that I love. In the United States, some churches do this, and you hear on Facebook a lot of people complaining about it. Oh, we need to get rid of this. Oh, the communion time when everyone leaves their seats and they go and they hug and shake hands and all that kind of stuff. Oh, I got to tell you, if I were to try to take that out of our Brazilian service, there'd be a general rebellion. It's just a song. The praise group starts singing the song, and then everybody stands up and just kind of goes around and shakes everybody else's hand, hugs them, tells them they're praying for them, tells them they love them. And if there are visitors there, the visitors get a big hug and a big welcome during that time. And I think maybe one of the reasons that people in the United States have a problem with it is because it might come off as insincere. I don't know. But in Brazil, it definitely does not come off as insincere. Brazilians look forward to that part. Brazilians are very social, very loving, very affectionate people. And so the hugging time, as I call it in English, the hugging time in our service is one of the big things. And I was able to go up the stairway at our church and kind of get a bird's eye view of it. So that video is on there. You can scroll down and see that. And then Sunday was also a kind of a juxtaposition of two special occasions here in Brazil. October 12th here in Brazil is Children's Day. Now, I know there's a Children's Day in America, or I found out there was a Children's Day in America after I was no longer a child, because no one in America celebrates Children's Day. And when I broached the subject with my parents, realizing, after I'd been to Brazil, realizing that here there's an actual Children's Day that's celebrated, in the United States there's a Children's Day that's ignored, and I realized how much I've been missing out, I broached the subject with my parents, and they said, well, every day is Children's Day. Yeah, okay. here, Children's Day is a thing. I mean, it's a big thing. It's second only to Mother's Day in terms of importance in Brazil. Children's Day is that important, and so usually churches have big events. They might rent out a place where they'll get that has a pool and a soccer field. Well, that's what we did for our conference, and we actually had a lot of kids, and even it was really great to see. One of the things that happened was that Pastor King and his wife got out there, and not speaking Portuguese, but they managed to get kids together and do activities. It was fantastic. So we had that activity, but it wasn't really called a Children's Day activity. And then on Sunday, most churches celebrate some kind of children's activity, but Sunday also here in Brazil is National Teachers Day. And so, and as God would have it, I was preaching in Luke 2. We're going through the book of Luke. Luke chapter 2, verse 52. And Jesus grew in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and man. And so that talks about the childhood development of Jesus Christ. And of course, that fits in both with Children's Day and Teacher's Day. So it was kind of a neat juxtaposition. And so to involve children in the service, I did a neat little thing. You'll see a picture there. Every time I would have a reference. At the beginning of the service, I asked for 4 volunteers, 2 girls, 2 boys. And so I got 2 girls, 2 boys, and to volunteer. And then every time I would ask the church to turn to a new reference, before I would ask them to turn there, I would call the kids up. And the kids, the volunteers, 2 guys, 2 girls, and we'd have a Bible drill for that reference. And we kept score. And the guys started out 2-0, and then the girls came back, and by the time they were done, it was 3-2. I think the girls, or no, it was 4-3. I think the girls pulled it out at the end and won. It was close. It was exciting, and that was during the message. So it was a neat thing. Another neat thing that happened. As we've been using here in Brazil, and in fact they've been here in Brazil for quite some time. The Source of Light ministry. Source of Light is a group that publishes Bible lessons aimed at kids and adults, and anything in between. And so we've been doing that. They've been in Brazil for quite some time, but just this year, I had tried to before. It just wasn't the time. But this year, I decided, you know what? Now's the time. I'm going to really emphasize the Source of Light work. And so I got some booklets and started distributing them, and last week there's a mother in our church who is doing these Bible studies with her 4 children, and so last Wednesday she handed me the first 2 booklets that they had completed, and I brought them home and graded them, and then I took them back, and on Sunday, instead of handing to them right away, one of the points that I made was it's much more important to grow in your relationship with God than it is with your relationship with man. Our relationship with human beings is important, but only in the context of what our relationship of God is. And and at that point, I wanted to give some practical ideas as to what people could do as far as developing this in their children. One thing is, of course, the Source of Light material fit right in there. So then I called the kids up, and I handed them their booklets and congratulated them on their good grades, and then handed them the new booklets that they can do this week. And so that was really neat. And then at the end, during the message, I said, okay, now anyone else who wants to do this, and there's a couple other kids who are doing it. At the end of this, I said, anyone who wants to do this after the service is over, come talk to me. And so after the service, at least 10 people came up to me and said, Pastor, I want a booklet. I don't have these booklets. I had to order them. So they're on order, and hopefully we'll be having at least 10 more people taking this course, this Bible course. And it's a really neat course. It actually presents the gospel, and then helps people as they grow in their relationship with God and so on. And so it's really neat. It was just really neat to see because I've been hammering this for a while. This is a really great course. It's a good And after it was like after the message on Sunday, poof, kind of exploded. Hey, we've got all these things to do. Another thing that's neat, and I want to show you. In fact, let me find this because I got to count the people. I had this all counted. Now the thing's not going to go. Now here we go. No, here we go. one of the pictures that's up there is a picture, and I've actually labeled it. It is of the new members class, and I'm going to pull this picture up just because I had counted it before and I forgot, but the number of people in the new members class. And there's two things neat about it. You'll notice in the picture that if you look at it, that it's not me teaching the class. I'm nowhere to be seen. It's a man named Abreu. Abreu is one of our deacons from the very beginning of our church plant, and he's been extremely faithful and has grown in leaps and bounds. And so if you look at this picture, you scroll down and look at the picture, and you'll see Abreu there, and you'll see him teaching, and he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people that are taking this course. Now check this out. Of these 8 people, 5 of them are actually actively interested in becoming new members. 3 of them are not, as far as I know. One of them, it was his first time there visiting, and so we thought probably that'd be the best. In fact, when visitors come, we usually put them in the new members class. But then there's 2 guys in this picture that aren't even believers yet, and they're the guys that are flanking Abreu. Abreu's there in the black shirt, facing the camera, holding the booklet. If you look at the picture, and the 2 guys flanking him, an older gentleman and a younger man, neither of those guys are saved. But we designed the course, when we designed the new members course, we designed it to actually present the gospel. And we've actually had people. We had one young lady a couple years ago. She was taking the course. She thought she was a believer. She took the course and realized that she wasn't, and got saved because of the new members course. So she was planning on becoming a member, and she realized she wasn't saved. So got that taken care of, and then we got to baptize her. So you can be praying, because there's 2 guys in this class that Abreu's teaching that are not believers. One of whom, the older gentleman sitting to Abreu's left, he's someone we've been praying for a long, long time. So ever since we started our congregation, we've been praying for this man. His name is Pedro, and Pedro's been coming very faithfully. His wife is a believer. His wife is an outstanding member of our church, just a real servant. Pedro's been, at the beginning, he didn't even like it when his wife came. He would complain. Now, a lot of times, he's the one that wants to come. And he has not made a decision for Christ yet. But you can tell that his heart is becoming more open to it. So just continue, redouble your efforts, and we'd appreciate it if you would every once in a while pray for Pedro. Don't necessarily vote for Pedro, but pray for Pedro. So little reference there, that if you get that, then I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. You can but anyway, just pray for Pedro, and also the other guy. His name is Thiago, who started coming to our church just recently, and so pray for Thiago as well. So then there was that, and then also at this service, a really neat thing. And this has been going on for a couple of weeks, but our and I see you people that are liking and laughing, and yeah, you're confessing that you know that movie. I see you there. Anyway, another neat thing that happened. Also, a picture of this. Our assistant pastor has been giving a series on evangelism that's been really good. His name's Pastor Francivaldo. He's been giving a series on evangelism, personal evangelism, and he's going to be doing the he's going to be giving practical experience. In other words, taking the adult and teens out, and we're actually going to be doing some personal evangelism. So he's fresh out of seminary, all kinds of energy, all kinds of ideas, and we're just really excited to be able to plug him in. And we're working on finishing our parsonage up above the Sunday school area, where he will then be he will live there, and that will be where he'll stay. He actually lives right now on the other side of town. A lot of times we have to take him back after church. Sometimes I get home at about midnight because of that, but we're just glad to be able to plug him in, and he's doing a great job, just fantastic job, and so it's really neat to see him jump in like that. I'm looking for some other things. Oh, I wanted to mention, I wanted to talk real quickly about the that parsonage, because this week the guy started, an electrician started working on the wiring. The person who originally put the wiring in, the best way to describe it would be Medusa on a bad hair day. That's the best way I can describe the wiring that happened. It was just bad. I'm not an electrician, and I can look at that and see that's bad. And so he's coming, and he's tearing it all out and putting brand new wiring in and fixing it and organizing it, and hopefully it will be it will be a lot better. So, and we're thankful for some offerings that we've received, both from here in Brazil and from the U.S., to be able to get that construction back on track. Our goal is to have Francivaldo in the new house by the end of the year. That's our goal. And we're we're doing everything we can to make that happen. One of the other pictures here on this picture dump that I wanted to show you, I wanted to point out, and then you can. But once again, these pictures, if you scroll down, you can see them. You'll see me kind of looking up at some words written on the projector, projected on the wall, and the caption says, "Reading a portion of the 1689 London Baptist Confession." Now, this is an idea I got in the U.S. From my brother, Pastor Dan, and the senior pastor of our sending church, Pastor Rick Pyatt. They every Sunday, our sending church, they read every morning, and I believe every night, every evening service, they read a portion of the 1689 London Baptist Convention. Kind of an idea of getting people back to the roots, making sure our church and our people are aware of our fundamental doctrines as Baptists, and that this is not something that was just developed yesterday, but there's a whole heritage and a whole history for what we believe, and that our faith remains basically unchanged, our belief system remains basically unchanged from that period of time. And I just thought it was a really good exercise every Sunday, just reminding people of one of the basic doctrines. We're talking about the decree of God right now, which is very interesting. So that's a little something we're also doing at our church. Not something that's commonly done here in Brazil, but something I saw in the U.S. and thought, you know what, that's valid. There's a good reason to do that, and so that's why we're doing there. That's why we're doing that. Okay, so that's basically a rundown of Sunday. Sunday was an outstanding day. Another cool thing that happened since the conference on Saturday. Several weeks ago, I started with one guy, and it was basically just going to be myself, and him, a Saturday Bible study. Well, he invited a bunch of friends, and so now, let's see, this Saturday we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 people plus me. So that's 8 people at this Bible study. One new person, actually this guy's sister came, and she's a dyed-in-the-wool Roman Catholic, and loves to talk about it and discuss it, which is of course right down my alley. I often tell people here, because Brazil is still like 70 to 73% Catholic, but most of the people who call themselves Catholic do not believe or do not know the basics of Catholic doctrine. They call themselves Catholic because they were baptized once when they were a kid in a church. So, whenever I get the chance to talk to a Catholic who really knows what a Catholic believes and believes what a Catholic believes, well, then that's awesome. So that happened on Saturday, and she was there, and she wasn't obnoxious, very respectful, but very questioning. We were studying the doctrine of Jesus Christ, and of course there's a lot of overlap. The Catholics will at least formally affirm. Whoa, there goes the camera. That happens, folks. All right. This is live. We're still there. All right. There was not an earthquake in Brazil. Do not panic. Do not worry. Everything's cool. So anyway, we had this discussion, and it was outstanding. And so pray. There's a lot of thinking going on. A lot of things that are being presented in a way that maybe people haven't heard before. So be praying for that. All right. Well, that's all I've got for now. For today, like I said, nothing earth-shattering, nothing exciting, and I'm cool with that, because usually when something earth-shattering has happened, there's been a lot of stress to go with it. So I'm good with these weeks where nothing much happens. Next week, I don't know, there might be a lot more going on. But anyway, that's a quick update from what we've got here. And as always, if you have any questions, be sure to send them my way. I'll be happy to try to answer them in our next video. Any comments, be sure to leave them under this video. This video will be available on Facebook right after, and then when I get around to it, I'll throw it up on YouTube also, so you can have access to it there. And then, of course, do not forget, if you are lacking for some good reading material, here is your problems are over. Missionary Max and the Jungle Princess is the first book in the Missionary Max series. And, oh, that's awesome. Hang on just a second. That is awesome. And then Missionary Max and what is this? Missionary Max. Yeah, I wrote it. Missionary Max and the Lost City, which is the second book. And so if you need some good reading material, you can go on Amazon.com. It's wherever books are sold on Amazon. You can get these either as paperback or as a Kindle version, and read and have missionary adventures to your heart's content. And then my brother Joseph has just put a graphic up that I'm tempted to make the official graphic for this video when I put it up on YouTube, but it shows the character from the movie I referenced earlier, and he's got on his T-shirt. It says "Pray for Pedro" instead of "Vote for Pedro." It's "Pray for Pedro." So I'm going to guess that my brother just photoshopped that just right now, which may mean that my brother has a little too much free time on his hand. But that's great. That's wonderful, and we'll see. I'll see what I can do about putting that up on the video when we put up. But in all seriousness, please pray for Pedro. If you're just joining us now, Pedro is a guy in our church who is, we feel, very close to making a decision for Christ. So be praying for him, and if that little graphic can help you remember that, then all right. Thanks a lot, Joe. Hey, that's all I got today. Thanks a lot for joining us. Thanks a lot for listening and then sharing this video. And if you know that people, if you're from one of our supporting churches and there are people that don't know about it, you might want to just send these videos to them. I'm doing them every week. I'm still sending out prayer letters, but I'm finding that these are just a really great way to keep in touch with people. I'm getting a lot of positive feedback from them. So yeah, anyway, they're out there, and I try to keep them up. So if you want to go back through past issues, you can also. So all right, thanks for joining us. Have a wonderful week. Until next Monday, God bless.